Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be going through a simple door mechanic in Unreal Engine 4. So we'll be going through bringing an animation file in, setting it up as a blueprint and playing it on command in a sort of gameplay setting. So it'll be kind of a quick fire tutorial. I'm going to go through things and kind of go through it step by step, but I won't handhold the entire way through. So I'll kind of go over the main factors of this blueprint. So I've got my kind of base file here. This one I've worked on already. Just kind of go over. Here's one I made before, and all it is a system of my animation file that I've created in Blender, and I've rigged it up, animated it, brought it into Unreal, and given it some commands. So once you enter a certain radius, doors will play the animation, will open up for you. So you can't get through them otherwise. You can run through, and obviously you won't re-trigger them again. And that's what we'll be going through in this one. So I'll make a start. I'll come out of this one and go to my other one that I've got over here, my blank slate. Let's get rid of some of these. Oh no, there. Cool. So what I've done, like I said before, is I went to Blender and I rigged up a simple just gate sort of model animation. So basically it kind of follows. It kind of opens like that. It's a little sort of bounciness to it, and because I've rigged it, it is all in one sort of model. And I'll go through that another time in another video, going over rigging a sort of hard surface model. But this isn't the focus of this. Today is the focus of doing this door mechanic. So what I did with this one is I exported it out as an FBX and brought it into Unreal, which I can do in this one. So in Unreal, I'm going to go into my files, into my content browser, just right click and go to new folder. I'll do gate BP, get a file like that, open that one up, add/import, import game asset. So I've just saved mine on tutorials as doors. I want to bring it in as a skeletal mesh because I've made it a skeletal mesh. If it isn't, if it doesn't have a skeleton, because sometimes you'll animate stuff just solely keyframes, you won't have rigged anything up. You don't have to worry about that, but keep it ticked anyway. Just import all, because these should be pretty much sorted, to make sure obviously you're importing the animations as well, because you need the animation to play. So I'm going to click import all, and that's all good. And you see now I've got my animation assets. Sometimes Blender, because in Blender there's a sort of action set list of animations, so you can create multiple animations per FBX. So they'll import multiple of them. Basically just kind of fish out the one you need, so delete that one because we don't need that one. And this is the one we'll be using here. So what we want to do is bring this in as a blueprint. So we're going to create an actor. So if I right click down here, go to blueprint class, go to actor, and then I'm going to call this one gate BP. Save it as that, and I'm going to open that one up. So we've got our actor here, and basically this is where we can start, bringing interactivity and that sort of stuff into there. What we mainly want to do is bring in our gate, because that's the kind of sole asset in this. So we want to go to add component up here, top left, go down to skeletal mesh, name it gate. My cap locks are the other way around. Gate there, and then we want to go over to mesh, find our doors that we've got here. I'm just going to stick one of the random textures I've got, a black one for now, like a black texture, just because that original texture is horrible. It's all stretching. You can see that I haven't bothered UV unwrapping because it was a quick little model. So what we want to do is go to use animation asset on the animation tab here and select the animation that we've got. You can see it will start playing. We want to untick looping and playing, so we don't want it to go as we're working with this. So if I compile that, bring that in here, you can see now I can drag it around. I'm going to put it just there, just like that, and I'm going to bring this over, create a quick environment for this, just to kind of have somewhere walled off that the player can't get to, give it a bit of context really, just like that. Cool. So if I press play now, run my little character over here, you see at the moment you can walk through it because it has no collision presets. It has no sort of collision reactions, so it will only be a no collision, and you can walk through it, things can fall through it, that sort of thing. So we want to fix that. So what we want to go do is go back into our blueprints, go to gate. We're going to look down at our, where is it, collision. We want to put that in as block all, compile that. So if I play, run over here, I cannot run through this. And what we might actually do, because if you go on to the physics asset version of this, so when you bring in a rigged up animation, it will give you your mesh, it will give you your animation sequence, and it will give you your physics asset as well as your skeleton as well. And physics asset will can show your collisions. See here, these are our weird sort of bubbled collisions which don't look amazing. They're very not so neat. So we don't really want to use this. We want to use a different one, because you can see, when I played in person here, you can see where our character will sort of hover around these spheres. You can see ourselves kind of going in there and dipping in, and we don't want that. We want to have a nice even sort of we want to have it nice and even, the collisions. So what we want to do is come back into our blueprints, come back into our gate blueprint, and we want to add a box collision and call it collision 1. And then what we'll do is we will attach it to one of the bones. So like I said before, I rigged it up in Blender, so it has 2 bones. It has 1 bone for one door, 1 bone for the other, and we want to attach this box collision to one of those bones. So if I go to this one, I want to go to bone 1, and then I'm going to scale it down. Because it's attached to a bone, it can be very temperamental, these scaling things, and there's probably a different way of doing this, but this is the way that works for me to get the most control out of your collisions. So I'm going to get it nice and scaled, nothing too big because we want it to kind of fit nicely with the gate. Get it like that, pull them up a little bit maybe, just like that. Where are you? Come here. Just like that, cool, I'm happy with that. And then what we want to do is go up to collision 1 over here, Control C, Control V. I'm going to change that to collision 2. And again, put that in gate. Where is he? Don't know where he's even gone. But I want to have him on bone 1. So where is he? Why is he over there? Set him back to 0. There we go. Get him just like that. Get them to roughly the same height next to each other. And so now we've got those. If I compile and save that, if I go onto my animation asset, click playing, you can see now those collision boxes follow that door because they're attached to that bone. And so now they will, if we click on each of them, go down to collision and set to block all, and that to block all, and then make sure this is not playing. If we go into back into our game, test it out, we can not walk through, but we also want to make sure we're setting this itself to, we want it to be no collision, because like I said, we don't want to use those initial capsule collisions because they don't look very good and they're not very neat for us. So we want to go to no collision, compile and save that. You can see now if I run over to this, it's using those new collisions. We can actually get a bit closer into it, it's a bit more kind of realistic and that sort of thing. So that's working perfectly. What we want to do now is we want to make a way to open this gate. And the main way you want to do that is by going into your event graph and setting up some things once we've got a trigger. So what you want to do is, again, add another box collision. We're not going to attach this to anything. We're not going to link it up with a bone because this is solely going to sit in front of the door, ready for the player to step into it and make it set off, make it fire off. So I'll pop this just roughly in front of the door, just like this. Make it a bit wider, just like that, like so. Cool, I'm happy with that. Compile, save. What we want to do now, though, is we'll go into our event graph and start doing some blueprints to kind of give it some logic to, open the door once entered or once collided with. So go to event graph. Let's get rid of these. We don't really need these for now, so highlight them and delete them. And what you want to do, Unreal's great for this, is once you have something selected, it will usually give you the blueprints that are in context to this. So if we select the box, which is the box trigger, we'll rename it to trigger. Rename it to trigger, click on it, then come back into our little workspace down here, right click, go to add event for trigger, collision, and add on component begin overlap. So this is when you will enter the box. And this is our first sort of step into this, into blueprinting, where we want to set up this logic just to go from start to finish. So add on component begin overlap will be where you start. So this will be the initial fire off. So when you step into that box, it will fire this off. So what we want to do now is we want to make sure that it's only the player setting this off. And for that we use a node called casting. And what that does is it communicates within another blueprint. So it talks to another blueprint. In this case, it'll be talking to our player blueprint, basically. So what we want to go do is come to other actor quickly. So kind of streamlines it a bit more. Drag off here. I'm going to search cast to... My one's EV player character. Yours might be third person character, first person, depending on what you're using at the time. So whatever your player controller is the name of your blueprint, basically. So get that one, and it will. If you come from the reference, so if you come down from the actor reference down here, it will automatically set up your executable line for you. A little trick there for you. So we've got this now. So what will happen after this is once your player has gone through and collided, it will cast to your player character, and it means that whatever comes after this will only happen if your player character walks through that first box. And in this case, we want it to play the animation. So what we want to do is get a reference to our gate, so we can then get a reference to the animation. And what you can do is go up to here to the top left where it says gate, click it, and then click and drag and drop them in. And this is a reference. So this is the wildcard reference to our our animation model, which is what we want to be able to access then the animation files to play when you walk through them. So if we drag off this and we're going to type in play animation, click that one, find our animation, which is just doors. Your animation set might have multiple animations for the doors. Your doors could blow up or shut, that sort of thing, and this is where you're going to find your list of those. This obviously shows every single animation you've got, but there are different ways you can whittle that down. But in this case, we're just going for doors and then doors action 001. Link that up with the executable, and we don't want it to loop. We don't want that to loop. So once you open the door, we don't keep jumping back and playing the same animation over and over again, because that would look a bit wacky. So that is that. But what we want now is that if you look at this logic here, you'll see that you walk into it, you activate it, and you play the animation. But what happens if you walk out of the box and step in it again? It's going to play the animation again, and it's going to look very janky, and it's not going to work properly, and it's going to kind of throw you off. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of this trigger, because you don't want to be able to trigger anymore. And if you're doing a door that opens and shuts, that sort of thing, there'll be different ways of doing this. But in terms of a simple door, this is what I would say to do. So what we want to do is drag again, like we did with the gate, drag a reference to this, drag them out here, come off here and do destroy component. And what that will do is that will delete that box completely, so it'll be out of existence and you cannot affect it anymore. So compile, save that. And what I can do now is go back into our game, run over here, and you can see it doesn't do anything. If I walk into that box, plays the animation, I can walk through nice and fine, and that box does not replay the animation. So that door is now perpetually open forever, which is exactly what we want. That's the thing that, it's the main thing with this. Now what you can do, if you want to do as well, if you want it to be key activated, say, and you wanted to have a key to open this door, you could do something very simple we'll create a new blueprint, and we'll create for the key. So if I get another blueprint class, make an actor, and so type key, let's open him up and just do really quickly a cube, and do rotating movement like that. Shrink it down a little bit, raise him up a little bit so he's just floating there. We just pop him in like that. See, now he just kind of spins. This will be kind of our little key placeholder. A bit bigger than that, like that. sure it looks okay, like so. Perfect. Cool. So what we'll do is in our gate, what we're going to do is drag these along a little bit, and we're going to create a new variable. And now variables, if I haven't gone over them already, they are sort of a piece of data that can control different parts of your code and give you different parts of information. So they can give you numbers, they can give you text, they can give you a yes or no statement. And a yes or no statement is what we're going to use. So it's something called a Boolean, which is a true or false, yes and no if statement, basically. So what we want to do is go to variables, click the little variable plus, and type has key, because it's going to be a question that we're going to ask the program, basically. So if we collect this key, it will set this to true. So it will say we have got the key, therefore we can do the actions after this. So if the door requires a key and you walk into that box and it goes, have you got a key? The blueprint can basically go, yes, we have a key, we can open that door. So what we want to do is we've got that saved there, we've got that ready to go, and what we're going to do is compile and save that. We're going to quickly go and do a branch. Oh, we're going to branch in between here, so in between the cast and the play animation. And this is where we're going to ask our question, basically. So what we'll do is bring this out here, get that one. So if it is true that we've got the key, if it is if it comes through here, ask the question, have you got the key? If it's true, it will play this animation and do this, and if not, we'll do a reaction. So print string and let's go find the key, and it'll just tell the player what to do. And this sort of thing you can make it a bit fancier. This is just kind of a debugging mode, so it'll come up in the top left just to talk about you can use it to debug things. It's quite useful for that. But I'll go over those in another video. So we've got our logic for this set up now, so it will ask this question. If I go into here, because I haven't got the key, the door will now not open. It will say up there, see, find the key, and it'll ask us to find that key, which will make this box the key. So that is all set up and ready to go. We don't need to touch this at all now. What we want to do is go to the key, and we want to go to event graph, add a quick box collision up here. So collision, make sure it's covering the box itself, make it a bit bigger so we can better collect it. Compile that, go into event graph and grab all this, drag it out, sorry, click on it, and like we did before, we want contextual code, so make sure that's selected, right click, event collision, add a begin overlap. What we'll do is cast to gate BP. I think I'm doing this right. Yep. Cast to gate BP, and then we will set has key to true, and then we will destroy actor. I'm pretty sure I'm doing this the right way. If not, I will go back through and fix this. So now, if my predictions are correct, if we run over this, we haven't got the key, run to the key. Nope, I've done this wrong. Right. So I figured out what I've done wrong. Basically, what we need to do is store this has key not in here, but store it in our player character. So we'll keep this question here, keep this all the same. We'll delete this variable, and what we want to do is go to our character blueprint, so controller, this one here, create our variable has key, question mark, compile and save that. And what we want to do now is go back to our key, cast to player character, link that up, set has key, leave that up there, tick it true. So now we're having it so when you walk into this box, it will trigger this key being, it is a yes, true, we now have the key, and then we'll destroy actor. So now that key will be, destroyed and it will be gone, and you've collected it, that sort of thing. So what we'll do is I'm going to just, maybe for purposes of, gameplay, pop that up there. Our key, I see our key is up there. We need our key. Oh, nope, that's why I'm missing things here. Yes, we're going to go to our gate. We want to answer this question now. I'm missing things constantly. So we want to come off here as play as Eevee character. Get has key. Pop it into that one. There we go. So now it's not true. We need to find the key. Run up the stairs. Grab that. Run back down here. And it'll open for us because we've got the key now. And that is all open and ready to go. So, to recap, we've got our gate that will, once we enter this box, it will cast to our player character. It'll ask the question, have we got the key? And if this is true, it will then play the gate animation that we selected, and then it will also destroy the trigger box that started the animation, so we cannot keep replaying the animation. If it is false, it will tell us to find the key. On the key, once we overlap that box, it will cast to our player character. It will set our variable that we've set on our player character for has key to true, and it will destroy that. So now when we go back onto our gate and we walk through this, it will do that check through our character, finding out has it got the key, and if it is true, it will play an animation, and so on and so forth. And that is pretty much, in terms of setting up a basic door, as simple as that. So what you can do is, there's loads of things you can do. You can set it so you can maybe make a tick box over here to make it so you can, when building your levels, make the door need a key or not need a key, that sort of thing. You can really make it set up for your sort of working pleasure, basically. But in terms of basic mechanics, this is pretty much that. So I'll run up here, so grab the key, fall in here, and the door now opens. And that is pretty much it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope this was helpful for you guys. Any questions, put in the comments below. If you are on any of the courses that I teach, pop me a message if you need any help with it, not a problem at all. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll speak to you guys in the next one.